This is not a video I wanted to make necessarily, but there's some things I would just like to get out there for the record. Now, let me just be clear right off the bat. I'm not going to say anything for or against Trump in this video. I'm not getting into all that now. If you like Trump, great. If you don't like Trump, great. Okay, I'm not, this is, if you came to this video expecting like a big ol' knee slap and hold down Trump bashing session, you're gonna have to go somewhere else for that. I'm sorry. And likewise, you know, the video, this is America! I'm sorry, you're gonna have to go somewhere else for that too, okay? Go to, the OAN channel or something for that, okay? So this, I'm not making any claims here one way or the other about Trump. I want to specifically talk about this. In case you haven't figured out the topic of this video, President Trump has been banned permanently from Twitter. Now, before I get into that itself, let me just finish explaining why I didn't want to make this video. Because, you know, I don't really like talking about politics that much nowadays. Back in, like, 2016, I was much more vocal about my political beliefs and stuff. Back then, I've kind of steered away from that now. You know, because just, I don't like talking about politics very much. It's not that fun. But I feel like I need to say something here. Now, of course, now, like I already said, this is not a for or against Trump sort of thing here. But it's going to kind of sound like I'm bashing the Trump haters here. Look, it's completely fine if you don't like Trump, okay? This is nothing against people who hate Trump at all. Maybe you think Trump is the single worst president we've ever had and ever will have. That is absolutely okay. That said, sorry, I hope the microphone didn't spike there for a second. Sometimes I say things that are like way too loud. It's like, ah, crap. But I'm not going back and editing this, so sorry. Rest in peace, headphone users. Anyway, what was I saying? Right, so even if you hate Trump with all your guts, that's fine. But, you know, there comes a point where it's like, why ban these people? So think about it. So Joe Biden, the election results, it's January 8th as I'm recording this. You can see down here in the corner. About 6:45 p.m. Central as I'm recording this. So 2 days ago, my time, the election results got certified for Biden. Now, since then, Trump has been saying all kinds of stuff on Twitter. Actually, it started before then, but he's been saying a lot of stuff since then. Long story short, Twitter has banned Trump permanently. Let's read a little bit of this article here. I don't want to read like the whole thing. I'll just read a little bit of it here. Twitter suspended Trump from its platform, the company said. Now, this is not the first platform he's been banned from. He was also banned from, Instagram and Facebook? Yeah, because Mark Zuckerberg, whatever his name is, he banned him. Let's read this quote here. In the context of horrific events this week, we made it clear on Wednesday, which was 2 days ago, that additional violations of the Twitter rules would potentially result in this very course of action. Now, what's this first quote here? After close review of recent tweets from the @RealDonaldTrump account and the context around him, we have permanently suspended the account due to the risk of further incitement of violence. Now, if I'm completely wrong on this, please correct me on this, because I don't want to be wrong on anything. But I don't recall Trump specifically inciting violence. Now, yes, there was some violence on Wednesday. If you've been under a rock this whole time, so the Capitol building got stormed in D.C. on Wednesday, the 6th. So, I mean, there was some pretty violent stuff that day, but I don't recall Trump specifically inciting violence. Yes, he did. It was his idea to have this big gathering. Yes, that he did, but I don't recall him inciting violence specifically. Like, I certainly don't think he got on Twitter and was like, hey, everyone, let's storm the Capitol. I don't think that happened. But again, if I'm wrong on that, by all means, correct me. I'll slap you later. No, I'm kidding. But seriously, I mean, correct me if I'm wrong on that. I don't think he said that. In fact, Trump also made a video later where he's like, hey, everyone go home. You know, we gotta stay peaceful here. So it doesn't... I kind of doubt he would say, hey, let's storm the Capitol. And like 30 minutes later, oh, let's all be peaceful here. I don't think that happened. Now, here's the thing. Now, like I said earlier, you can hate someone all you want to. You can think they're the worst person on the face of the earth. You can think they're a criminal, a con man. I know a lot of people think Trump's a con man. But to censor someone from social media is not good. There's a reason why we have a First Amendment. Now, having freedom of speech, which is what the First Amendment's all about, it has its pros, obviously, but it also has its cons. Sometimes people say things you just don't like. But worse than that, people can lie. People can absolutely lie when they have freedom of speech. I mean, they're free to lie. Not that they should lie, of course, but they have the freedom to do that. That's why when you have places where there's freedom of speech, you have all sorts of contradicting viewpoints on certain subjects and stuff. That's just the reality of freedom of speech. Having different ideas, many of them are going to be completely wrong, but you know what? We should not be told how to think. And what these people are doing by banning people like Trump, and again, I'm not defending Trump here in this video, okay? Say what you want about Trump. That's completely fine. But even if you think Trump is the worst person ever to exist, people should not endorse the censorship of people who have viewpoints and opinions that they don't agree with, even if they're completely wrong. And don't take my word for it. The same thing happened. So back in 2018, here's a fantastic video from The Amazing Atheist. I don't watch this guy a whole lot, but he did put up this fantastic video, and it's only like 7 minutes long. This is back when Alex Jones was banned from Twitter. Look, I feel the same way about Alex Jones. I can't stand Alex Jones. To me, Alex Jones is one of the biggest morons on the planet, and that's saying something. I can't stand that guy. I don't think him and his InfoWars channel should be banned all across the networks. He's been banned from Twitter. He's been banned from YouTube. I think he's been banned from Facebook as well. You know. But see, people like Alex Jones, they shouldn't be censored. I don't care how wrong Alex Jones, and I think Alex Jones is very, very wrong on a lot of things. Doesn't mean they should be censored for it. We have to be able, if we want to live in a country with a First Amendment, we have to put up with people who give opinions and viewpoints that we don't agree with, and that in some cases are completely wrong. You know? Freedom of speech has its side effects. It does, you know, and freedom of speech sounds nice on the surface, which, I mean, freedom of speech is nice, but a lot of people seem to forget that freedom of speech goes the other way. It's a two-way street. It's not a one-way street. It's a two-way street. And that's why the second people say something that they don't agree with or that offends them, they're so quick to, oh, we gotta censor them. No. Because if you want to have freedom of speech, and I imagine you do, they gotta have it as well. So again, people like Alex Jones, Trump, whoever else, Glenn Beck, that creepo, you know, say what you want about those kinds of people. They shouldn't be censored. Censorship is not going to get us anywhere. I mean, there's a portion of this video here, I don't know where it is.
Independent thoughts, whether we agree with those thoughts or not. You can think I'm a retard. You can think that everything I say is out of self.
There's a very specific part here in this video I want to address. I wish I had the timestamp for it in advance, but I've already done 3 takes on this video.
So. Out there, including more. But we're just as susceptible. Is an independent media voice. So is Kyle Kulinski of Secular Talk. So is David Pakman. So are the Young Turks, even though they're kind of getting to that level where almost they're not independent anymore.
You know, and all those sources he just listed, I'm not a big fan of any of those. I don't watch any of those. I don't think they should be censored. Absolutely not.
But there's tons of left-wing media voices out there, including myself, who we're just as susceptible to this stuff as Alex Jones. That's why I put my foot down here. It's out of self-interest. It's out of self-interest. And you have a self-interest in this too, because you don't want CNN and MSNBC and Fox News to be the only people who have a say in the news.
That was the part right there I was looking for. Right. I mean, we don't want to live in a world where all we have is those mainstream news sources, because they don't always tell the truth. And that's not a left-wing or right-wing thing. I mean, nobody I know of on the left or right-wing perspectives believe everything that comes out of mainstream media. You know, it's kind of like this false dilemma between you're either an off-the-edge conspiracy theorist, or you believe everything the media tells you. You know, I hear a lot of these conspiracy theorists, especially like on YouTube, who will say things like, well, you just believe everything mainstream media tells you. Like Alex Jones has done that before, where he's like, you'd believe everything, go ahead and believe everything mainstream media tells you. I don't know of anyone who believes everything mainstream media. Now, I'm not saying mainstream media is wrong on every single thing they report, but we certainly don't believe they're right on every single thing that they report. And not just out of, like, honest incorrectness, but sometimes they lie. They do. I don't know of anyone, oh, well, they said so on the news, so they must be telling the truth, you know? They wouldn't be on the TV if they were lying to me, you know? When they get in trouble, I mean, they get caught or something, right? Right? No one thinks that way. That's why it's good to have, and there's something else too. Okay, people say, oh, well, Trump tells a lot of lies. Okay, he probably does, but you know what? Not like mainstream media is any better. You're never going to have a mainstream source out there, or any source, independent or mainstream, that's always going to tell you the truth, you know? So if that's going to be our philosophy, let's just ban every news source that doesn't always tell the truth. We would have nothing left. Literally, we would have absolutely nothing left. You know, I tell people sometimes, the best way to get your news source, because, like, and I've had this debate with people before, where it's like, because to me, there's no single news source out there that's 100% reliable. Some maybe more than others, but to one extent or the other, they're all pretty bad to some degree. And, you know, people have asked me before, like, well, Aaron, you can't think like that. You gotta believe something, don't you? Well, sure I do, but that doesn't mean I listen to the same news source for everything, you know? And like all these stupid emails I get, subscribe to the New York Times today. You get the truth for, what is it, $1 a week or whatever the rate is. I don't know. But, yeah, I don't understand why people do that. Because, like, why would you get your source from only, or your news from only one source? Best way to get news, and this is no joke here, the best way to get news on anything is to read as many different sources as you can and then draw your own conclusion. Oh, well, we should have everything fed to us, right? No, we should be able to think for ourselves is what we should do. And that doesn't mean we're all going to come to the same conclusion. It doesn't always mean we're all going to be right on everything. It doesn't. But the important thing is we need to think for ourselves. And people can't think for themselves when all they're being shown is mainstream news. And notice, too, I'm not turning this into a big CNN versus Fox News fiasco. No, because in my opinion, both sources are BS anyway. So I have CNN up here, but I have no doubt Fox has an article out there somewhere, as does MSNBC and all these other sources. So if you haven't seen this video from Amazing Atheists, I would highly recommend going and watching it. He makes some very good points, and if you don't know anything about him, he's a left-wing, or mostly left-wing YouTuber, so for him to be speaking out, you know, it's not like he's some Alex Jones fanatic who's, Alex Jones shouldn't be banned. It's like, of course the Alex Jones fans are going to say that. I mean, no kidding, right? You know, but this guy doesn't like Alex Jones, and neither do I, and we both agree people like him shouldn't be banned. Same thing with Trump. You know, we can't live in a world where we just go out and ban everybody just because they're wrong. And, like, not even just because we disagree with them, but even the people who are straight up wrong. We can't live in a world where we could just go out and ban everybody who's wrong. Because, like I said, if that were the case, we would have no news at all, mainstream or independent. You know, that's just the reality of the First Amendment. It's a side effect that a lot of people forget about, you know, because it's all fun and games when people say things you agree with, but the second someone else says something that you don't agree with or that you think is wrong, all of a sudden they should be banned, you know? So that's pretty much all I have to say. This video was kind of longer than I expected it to be. I apologize for that. If you did tune in to the very end, well, thank you very much for that. And So that's about it, I guess. So this is Clear Sky Productions. Thank you as always for watching, and I will see you at another time. And stay safe out there. Take care.